In this challenge, I was chased by ghost sharks, attacked by giant piranhas, and pursued by devilish ravens. And that were only a few of the horrifying things that happened to me in this attempt. For those of you who haven't played Dredge before, it's a creepy fisher game where you need to gather resources, upgrade your ship, and fight off sea monsters to survive. The less you sleep, the more crazy things happen. Creatures start attacking you that don't really exist, and nature goes mad. Everyone and everything is hunting you. Which brings us to today's challenge. Since I've already beaten Dredge once, I wanted to give it a twist the second time around. I decided to try to get through the game without sleeping once. The rules were simple. I was not allowed to sleep, and, to make it harder for myself, I was also not allowed to stay in the safe zones at night. The goal of the challenge is to collect these 5 relics in order to finish the game. Do you think I will make it? Well, see for yourself, and without further ado, let the challenge begin. The game started off pretty normal. I woke up in the harbor of the city Great Marrow and couldn't remember anything. The mayor told me that I had a boating accident and my boat was broken, but don't worry, he gave me a new boat. Since I had no money, I started my career as a fisherman. So I went on my first trip, luckily still in the daytime, and caught fish, and even more fish, until my inventory was full. I headed back to Greater Marrow and sold my 14 fish for an astonishing 150 bucks. Looks like fishing is a lucrative profession. I then got my first research part from the mayor, which I needed to research new equipment later, and he told me to go to sleep because it is dangerous outside at night. As I was not allowed to do this, it was time for some night fishing, since I still had to pay off my debts. A few arrow squids later, the panic started to rise, which you can tell by the big evil eye watching me. I didn't know if it was the lack of sleep or the fact that I was being watched by a giant eyeball, but I started to feel a little crazy. Luckily, I made it through the first night without incident, but the panic meter was red already, and as soon as I set out in the morning to deliver my loot, I got swamped by ghost ravens. They stole one fish, another fish, and a third fish, but luckily they didn't attack my boat. Unfortunately, I only find out later in the game that you can scare them away with the air horn. So, I sold what's left from the fish, and for that money I bought myself a new motor.
Upgrade! Hooray!
After a little more fishing, I finally settled my debt with the mayor. He was so happy that he sent me straight back out again. It didn't take long and the panic meter rose again. And let me tell you, when the panic meter rises, things start to get crazy. Shortly after, ice appeared all around me and suddenly stones emerged from nowhere. From now on, I had to drive carefully, so that I didn't damage my ship. These rocks were unpredictable, and I felt like I was playing dodgeball with Mother Nature. That was way too close, and not much later this happened. When the night was over, I headed back to Greater Marrow and repaired the ship. I also bought a new fishing rod from my hard-earned money. After a little more fishing and completing quests, it was night again. It wouldn't be long before this happened. Fortunately, this was the only bad thing happened that night. Except from being annoyed by some more ghost ravens, the next days went pretty smooth. I unlocked crab pots and caught my first corrupted fish. The fishmonger cut him open and handed me a handkerchief, which I then took to the island outside of Greater Marrow to progress in the main storyline. I also got the Dredge, which allowed me to collect the 5 lost relics, which I needed to complete the game. The following night something really creepy happened. I was just chilling when I saw something in the dark. A boat driving a little bit further in the ocean. Shortly after, it disappeared in the water. Since I already knew it from my previous playthrough, I did not think much of it and went on with completing a few more quests and farming a little bit more money. Maybe it was just searching for Bikini Bottom. I then headed out to hunt the first relic I needed for the main storyline. The map marked the spot right on the other side of Greater Marrow Island, and there it was. I used the dredge to get it out of the water, and voila, there was the first of 5 relics. So far, nothing really bad happened, so I felt more confident I could complete the challenge. There was a lot I still had to do, and things only got scarier. In the following night, the weird boat appeared again, only to disappear moments later. A few hours later, on my way home, this happened. I used my own foghorn to answer, but no one responded. After that incident, I delivered the first relic, which unlocked the haste ability. This was very useful since it allowed me to speed up my ship from then on. In the following days, I wanted to collect resources I needed to upgrade my boat, but the panic meter was always high since I couldn't sleep, and shortly after I got attacked by Mother Nature. I saw it spawning, thought I dodged it, and went on. Unfortunately, those things will chase you wherever you go, and I couldn't get out of the dredging in time. It damaged me, so I had to go back to Greater Marrow, where I also researched the small motor with all the research parts I gathered so far. I went on with fishing so I could buy a few of those motors, but suddenly something slithered into my cargo hold. I had to sell my fish as soon as possible, otherwise they would all have been infected with this thing and become worthless. In the night, the creepy boat visited me again and turned around shortly after. This thing drives me crazy. To get on with the story, I made my way to the Gale Cliffs, the next area with the relic, but on my way there, well, see for yourself. Even the second time playing, this game could still surprise me. I didn't see anything like this the first time I played it. Let's see what else is to come. Do you enjoy the challenge so far? If that's the case, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, or I will have to send the ghost ravens to hunt you down. And also, I would really appreciate it. As soon as I arrived in Gale Cliffs, I accepted all the residents' quests and went looking for the quest item that leads me to the next relic. I knew there was a monster protecting this area, but I wasn't careful enough, and suddenly it was too late to escape. Since one more hit from this thing would kill me, I headed back to the city to repair the boat, and tried again from the other side. This time, Mother Nature chased me again, so I had to go fast. A second later, the one-eyed monster emerged from the deep, and I had to flee into the hidden cave behind the waterfall, not knowing if he could find me there. Luckily he couldn't. Inside was a little bit of loot and a rare fish, which I couldn't obtain yet because I needed a better fishing rod. Bravely, I went out again and headed right to the item in the hope he wouldn't catch me in time. I got it and fled out of the cliffs as fast as possible. On my way home, I also collected the last fabric I needed for the hull upgrade that gave me more HP. After a little bit of talking to the residents and solving a dispute between brothers, they sent me to blow up some rocks. On my way there, my old friend visited me again and I had no chance of escaping. This time I just went on, knowing everything could kill me now, but I managed to blow the rocks up and headed back before the monster could come out again. For completing this quest I got some more explosive, which I used to clear my way to the next relic. And there we go. 2 relics without sleeping a minute, and also I haven't even died yet. On my way back to deliver the relic, this wild red tornado wouldn't stop chasing me. I thought I was safe, but it just didn't give up and almost managed to hit me. That was way too close. In the night of day 17, I delivered the second relic, which unlocked the manifest ability that allows me to teleport back whenever I need to. This will help me escape in future dangerous situations. After collecting all of the crab pots I had placed, I was rich again. I bought myself a new fishing rod and was broke again. Little bit more fishing, collecting materials and upgrading my boat later, I made my way to the next area. It didn't take long until I got attacked again. I tried my best to dodge it, but this thing was just too fast. The next step was to find the researcher and finish her quests. I needed 3 different fish, from which I already had 1. The scope helped me finding the second, and for the third I needed to buy a fishing net. While collecting them, I had another raven incident, but this time I managed to scare them off with my air horn. Also, I wanted to try what happens when you drive over those jellyfish, and quickly regret it. My cargo got infected and my fish were worthless. After catching the fish again, I delivered them to the researcher and she gave me what I needed to repair the nearby research station, and also a new fishing rod for catching abyssal fish. I also unlocked and bought this hook, which I could use to catch hadelfish in the next relic. So I went right to the research station to activate the radar tower that, for some reason, scares off the big octopus living in the middle of the stellar basin. This allowed me to get to the next relic without being attacked. I wasn't sure how long the tower would cover me, so I was still scared. And there we go, we got our third relic. Only 2 more to go and the challenge would be completed, but I knew it would not be easy to get through the last 2 areas. I also used the time the radar tower was still activated to look for the exotic fish living here. For every exotic fish I caught, the traveling merchant would give me 2 research parts, so I took the opportunity. Later that night, when I was traveling around the island, this happened. I thought it was a stone, so I just approached it normally, but in reality it was a mimic that attacked instantly. Fortunately, I reacted in time and avoided any damage. I was scared, but I still wanted to find out what else was living here around the island, so I kept exploring. Shortly after, I found this wooden hut. Inside was a cute little doggo. I thought he looked like a Charlie, so I would call him Charlie from now on. I played around with Charlie for a while, and when I wanted to leave, he followed me. I took Charlie with me on my adventure, but wasn't sure what to do with him. A boat is certainly not a good place for a dog, so I googled what I could do with Charlie and decided I would bring him to my friend the researcher. She would take care of Charlie while I'm on my adventure. I mean, look how happy he is. After this little adventure, I used the manifest ability to go back and deliver the third relic. For this, I unlocked the banish ability, which allowed me to scare off most of the creatures for a short amount of time. I mean, who needs weapons when you've got the power of fear? This was a game changer for the challenge, but it has a very high cooldown, so I had to be careful when using it and when not. So, after doing a little business in Great Marrow, I headed to the next area, the Twisted Strands. I already knew that everything is against you there, so I prepared myself mentally. In the early morning of day 25, I arrived there, headed right in the swamp, and made my way to the big red eggs. It didn't take long until the first sea monster, the Mindsucker, became aware of me. It cannot attack me by itself, but it raised my panic, which led to the swamp attacking me. Great, not only am I being attacked by sea monsters, but now the swamp is after me too. I rushed through the danger and spoke to the guy in the middle of the swamp. As you can see, I arrived just in time. He tells me that his plane crashed into the swamp and he needs my help killing those minesuckers living here. For that, I need to collect parts of a mortar scattered around the area. I made my way there, but suddenly my path got blocked by roots and I was trapped. I tried to banish the roots, but that didn't work, so I had to look for another way. After going around, I wanted to check out this shining spot, but the mushrooms exploded and destroyed my cargo. Shortly after, this happened. After navigating through the swamp for many hours, I finally found the first part of the mortar. I collected it and went straight for the second part when the minesucker showed up again. I just drove away as fast as possible since it wasn't very fast, and soon I had all the mortar parts together. I wandered around for hours until I finally got back to the airman. He told me I needed to collect specific type of fish from which he would create bait for those minesuckers. While collecting them, everything tried to stop me. I managed to use the banish ability to scare off the minesucker, but shortly after, while catching fish, I couldn't do anything against those vines hitting me. It took me a while, but I managed to get all the fish without further incidents. After delivering the fish, the airman told me to spread the bait around in the area so he could snipe them with a mortar. And that's what I did. It felt good that I could finally do something against them. They got lured by my bait, trapped in the cage, and blown up by the mortar. The first, the second, and the third one. The airman was so happy that he gave me the fourth relic. There we go. Only one relic left before completing the challenge. I went back to deliver it as soon as possible since I didn't want to be in this deadly swamp for one more minute. I unlocked the atrophy ability, which basically is ability for fast fishing. After that, I went on and unlocked the fishing rod I needed for the last area. Aside from a few creepy looks, my walk there was pretty quiet. Arriving in the Devil's Spine, there's a fanatic that asks me weird questions and tells me I need to collect 3 fathomless flames. I would get these flames by completing specific quests. At that time, I did not know that this was the most difficult part of the whole challenge. Since I already knew that I need specific crabs for the quest, I bought a crab pot and placed it before I went on with the other quest. The first shrine wanted me to deliver these crabs, so I went straight to the second one. For this one, I needed these fish. I started looking for them. After a long time finding nothing, I tried to go for the third shrine, which wanted me to deliver a corrupted fish. I was just looking through my scope to search for some fishing spots when I suddenly got damaged. The unseeing mother had snuck up on me. This monster couldn't find me by itself, since it's blind, but those little piranhas helped her finding me. I wanted to use banish, but it was still on cooldown. Those piranhas slowed me down, and I had to leave fast, since one more hit of the mother could kill me. I made my way to the next underground steam vent as soon as possible to scare off the piranhas and fortunately managed to escape. I thought I was in the safe area, but actually I wasn't, and this happened. Well, sadly, this was the first death of my run and also such a stupid one. Either way, I continued with the challenge. I did not have to wait long and this beast visited me again. This time I thought I was more careful and managed to escape, but those piranhas just slowed me down so much I could not move at all, even with haste. I headed to the next vent, but my boat was just too slow and the mother got me again. I didn't want to die this time, so I went straight to the dock to repair my ship. I was surprised how hard this area was, even the second time around. From now on, I was way more careful. Soon I managed to catch both fish for the second shrine, and when I delivered them, I got the first flame. Shortly after, I finally caught the corrupted fish I needed for the third shrine, and sold it because I'm stupid. In the meantime, my crab pots were working hard, and I could take the crabs I needed out of them. I delivered them and got the second flame. I then needed to catch the corrupted fish again, so I could get the last flame. Unfortunately, it took me a long time to find it, and while fishing I got attacked again. Could I escape this time? Well, see for yourself. I reached the steam vent and scared off the piranhas before the mother could attack me again. Happy that I survived, I went back to the dock. But, well, I didn't make it. Shortly after, I found the corrupted fish I needed and delivered them for the third flame. With all the flames in my inventory, I headed to the fanatic, but on my way there, another creature I never saw before attacked me. What else does this game have to offer? Still in shock, I packed the flames into the statues as the fanatic told me to. The fanatic then performed some kind of ritual and burst into flames, leaving behind only a pocket watch, the last relic. And there we go, all relics collected without sleeping once. I didn't think I would make it, but I did. So I headed back to my guy at Blackstone Island and delivered the last relic. He was happy I managed to get all the relics and said it's time for our last voyage. With him on board, I made my way to the spot he told me and the final ending began. Enjoy the show. And if you have any ideas what challenge I should do next, please comment below.